Welcome to Insider's Playbook from Senior Tennis Unpacked. This series is all about bringing you insider strategies, practical tips from the best coaches, fitness experts, and players in the game, so we can all keep improving at any age. I'm your host, Mike Rogers, a senior tennis player on my own journey to improve my league and tournament play. My guest today is Mark Vines, whose career spans every corner of tennis. From competing against legends like Yannick Noah and Harold Solomon on the ATP Tour to coaching top 50 pros and later dominating senior tennis with more than 25 national gold balls and 5 ITF World Championships. Mark understands both the science and psychology of the game, and he's here to break down one of tennis's most overlooked tools, the grunt. We'll talk about why making sound on contact isn't just acceptable, it's a proven way to relax, focus, and add power to your shots. Mark, great to have you back on Insider's Playbook.
Michael, thank you so much. I really appreciate you inviting me on, and congratulations on a fantastic new direction in life and coaching, and you're doing an awesome job with your blogs too.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's get right into this. Some players see grunting as natural. I know I play with a few that do that, but others see it as annoying. Where do you draw the line between what's acceptable and what crosses into a hindrance?
Well, um, here's the science of the grunt. There is some science behind the grunt, and there is evidence to say that when you do grunt, when you do exhale, there is things that happen in your body that allow you to exert more force, and that's typically what you're trying to do to grunt. The other thing is the efficiency of breathing. If you hold your breath while you exert yourself, you throughout the whole thing, then what happens is you're not quite as efficient. Your heart rate goes up, and you get more tired. So, what's acceptable, what's not, on a personal basis, everyone has to do that. But even you'd probably never heard Federer really grunt,
Mm-mm.
but if you listen very closely and you had that microphone directly right at him, you could hear him. There was some noise that comes from his body.
Mhm.
Sabalenka, you need earmuffs on. Williams sisters, same thing.
Right.
Um, I think it becomes a hindrance once your ball that you hit passes over the net. If your grunt's going past that point, you should be penalized.
Yeah.
Years ago, the WTA was thinking about, making some rules about it. I don't know whatever happened. Something calmed down. Maybe Azarenka left the tour or something, and things calmed down a little bit. But I do think that they ought to, I think the grunts last a little bit too long, more so in the women than the men. Um, but there are some guys out there who grunt. But physiologically, when you grunt, what happens is that you tend to, just before you hit the ball, you tend to hold your breath. In other words, you close your lungs off. And what that does, it pressurizes the core of the body, pressurizes your lungs,
Hmm.
and then it supports your spine and supports your core so that you can exert more force. Now, what the grunt is a pressure relief valve. Okay, just like if you have something, you go you let air out of a tire, it goes like that. Okay, well, this is your way of going. Except what happens is you do it in a you can. I have people who say the word yes because they don't like the grunt.
Okay.
So just say, as you hit the ball, just go yes, yes, yes. And yes is a great word because it's very positive, very powerful word, very empowering. Um, but you need to do it. You can't go yes, and you can't go yes like this. It's yes as you stroke the ball. And
Right.
what that does, it relaxes the upper body. If you hold your breath and you hold it and tighten, and then you try to hit a tennis ball, you're not going to be comfortable. And the reason is because you'll stand upright, you won't get down, and you won't allow the body to move naturally. So there's a lot of great things about breathing out. What the noise does is signals to the brain that you're in a relaxation mode.
Uh-huh.
And therefore the brain hears the noise and goes, oh, well, if we're relaxing, I'll let the muscles relax it. So what happens is our muscles end up being more relaxed. And we end up hitting the ball a little harder because we end up we have all that force that we built up, and then we relax our muscles. And without exception, you ask somebody who holds their breath to grunt, and the
Mhm.
first thing that happens is they hit the ball 10, 15% harder. And I said, wait a minute. I just asked you to grunt. I didn't ask you to hit the ball harder. And they go, I said, are you hitting it harder? They go, well, yeah. And well, why? I said, were you trying? No, I was just trying to grunt. I said, duh. Okay, if you want to hit the ball now, sometimes you don't want to hit the ball harder, but
Right.
most of the time you do, and you do want to swing through and allow it. So from a physical standpoint, it's wonderful for your strokes. From an efficiency standpoint, it's great for your oxygen level, and for a full body experience, it relaxes the body. So there really isn't too much except whatever little taboo you might have for yourself is I know I don't want to be really noisy.
Right.
Fine, don't be noisy. All you have to do is grunt loud enough that you can hear it. Okay, just a little, just a little, that's it. You don't have to be shouting and hit 25, 30 decibels. So
Is is
that's my
there
take on it.
any kind of, I was trying to think of like a timing mechanism that you can use when you would start your grunt because I don't wanna be thinking about, "Okay, I gotta grunt right on contact." So, like, maybe when the ball bounces, can you start releasing a little bit then? Or
Sure, sure. I think yeah, I mean if you look at it, I mean the time between the ball bouncing and you hit the ball can vary quite a bit. If you're
True.
taking the ball in a half volley, from 2 feet behind the baseline, you got no time.
Right.
But let's say that you got a simula that's just sort of hanging there and bounces straight up, and then you got to hit the ball. So your timing of that should be just, you take your racket back, and then just before you start, you release it. You release your breath, and then that way, and it takes a second to release it, but it also takes a second to hit the ball. So the timing of that is very important. And I get guys all the time who I'll teach them to grunt, and they're constantly grunting, and they're not saying anything until the ball's already left the racket. Which means as they hit the ball, they're still tight through their
Right.
chest. So we got to work on your timing. So but I think there's a little bit, again, you have to pressurize first. Okay.
Okay.
So as the ball comes to you, you take that breath in, pressurize, and now let it out. Okay. And that pressurization allows you to put more force because it helps support the core and the spine.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, have you no, that makes sense, and and I think if you even just start releasing a little bit before you get to the ball, and then as
Absolutely.
you hit it, then you release everything out,
Yeah. I mean,
you
there's
know?
some guys who grunt all the time, and they grunt a little late. But at least they let it out. But
Yeah,
what they don't realize, they say, "Well, I'm grunting." Yeah, but you're grunting, and the noise doesn't happen until after the ball's off your racket.
right.
So it's not necessarily helping you because that means you're 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 not efficient with your moving,
Right, it's
with your
after the
moving
fact.
through the ball. Yeah, I'd like to tell everybody about a little example that I did, a little test that I did a couple
Uh,
like 3 years ago.
okay.
We have a tournament here at Sanchez Academy in January. It's a level two national. And there are a lot of guys who come in. There are about 350 guys who come in. A lot of them I've worked with. And most of the time when I work with guys, one of the first things I have to work with them on is their breathing, their grunting, and their efficiency there. So I took two guys one year. This was 3 years ago. And I stood beside the fence post and I watched them and listened to them hit balls. Okay. And what happened was I watched them until they missed 8 balls. Okay. So they had it on the racket, they hit it and they missed it. So what I did, I kept track of, okay, out of the 8 balls that they missed, how many times did I hear them? How many
Mhm.
times did I not hear them? And one guy, 6 times out of 8, I didn't hear him. There are a couple times he missed the ball that I heard him grunt. I heard some kind of noise coming from him. Okay. And I was standing probably 20, 25 feet from him. So I could hear him pretty, and I was specifically listening for it. The other guy um, did 7 out of 8 where he held his breath. Only so I went, okay, what can I draw from that? Well, I drew the conclusion that you're at least 3 times more likely to miss a ball than when you
Hmm,
breathe to hold your when you hold your breath than if you breathe out. So I said, well, that's a pretty small sample. The following year, I did the same thing.
Huh.
Okay. And I took two different guys, so I had two different guys, but I counted 8 balls, had the exact same results from four different guys, that they were more than three times likely to make a mistake, to miss a ball when they held their breath than when they didn't hold their breath. Okay. And I mean, again, that's a small sample, but I think that's a really good, serious example of the efficiency of the grunt and why you should implement it. Some kind of noise coming out. It doesn't have to be a grunt. It could be a yes. It could be some kind of noise, even that sound.
Yeah.
That way your brain hears it. But I thought that was really interesting.
That
I
is.
probably will repeat it again this upcoming year. But you got to remember, those four guys, I'd already worked with them before.
Uh-huh.
And and they knew how important breathing out was, but were they doing it? No. Is it something that you're going to do? You're going to go from barely doing it to doing it all the time? No. It
Mhm.
is a ongoing project, probably for the rest of your life. Do I grunt on every ball I hit? I would say probably 95% of them. But guess what? I would guarantee you that half the balls that I miss that are out or in the net, um, probably held my breath on them.
That would be really interesting with all the mics they have on the, pro courts, because you're hearing everything going on. Get Craig O'Shaughnessy to start keeping that stat.
Well, they probably wouldn't be too happy to, and they
Yeah.
probably don't want it to be, hey, if you grunt at this many decibels, you're going to hit the ball this much harder.
Yeah.
Well, everybody and their brother are going to start, sounding like a loudspeaker out there.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
true, or just some kind of exhale of breath, but
Well,
at
I
least
would.
you can sit there and say, "Well, there's the proof that you need to do that."
Yeah, well, at the pro level, they didn't get there by holding their breath. I can
Yeah,
promise you that. And
yeah.
if you go watch the Jimmy Parkers and the Fred Drillings and the shoot there, I mean, just a whole bunch of guys, even the guys in the 55s and 60s. I mean, all the way down. It doesn't matter what age,
Mhm,
okay? Um, what matters, and it doesn't matter what ability either. Okay, so if you want to hit the ball a little harder, you make sure that you're exhaling at the right time. If you don't know how to do that, videotape yourself.
mhm,
Okay, put the video, get on a ball machine, have your wife, somebody else videotape yourself, and be quiet and listen, and then make sure you're doing it.
mhm,
And then if you're not doing it while you play, I mean, if you do it in your practice is one thing. And I have a lot of guys who have a tough time in bringing what they do in practice, whatever that is, whether it's grunting or coaching themselves or whatever it is, into the playing arena. Okay. And that's because once you say, okay, we're going to keep score now,
mhm.
then what happens is the player goes from sort of the player coach, like they might be in practice, to like, I'm totally the player. I want to win. All I
Right,
want to do is win. I want to win. Anything for a victory, even if it means I hold my breath every time. No, what it should mean is you breathe out every time.
right.
And I just like for players to 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 better their practice. If they better their practice habits, you absolutely will increase and better your playing habits.
Well, I think that's probably one of the number one searches on Google is, "Why do I play so well in practice and not in my match?" Because you're not taking it there,
Well,
or you're not
yeah.
practicing it in your practice.
Well, the other thing is that you typically in practice, you'll break your practice down into, okay, I'm going to work on my technique, I'm going to
Yeah,
work on my conditioning, I'm going to work on my shot making, but how much in practice do you ever go, you know what? I don't care what I do today as long as I win.
right.
Okay? And how important is winning in practice? I know there were some college coaches like Bobby McKinley was at Trinity University when I was at SMU. This was back in the 70s,
Mm,
the late 70s. And their practices at Trinity University, um, all they did was play 5 sets a day. That's what I was told by their players. I
really?
said, "What do you do for practice?" "We do a little running and then we play 5 sets a day." Why do you do that? Why don't you work on your game? Well, the coach said, you want to be, look, you can practice all you want, but when it comes to playing, there's no substitute for for playing better matches than to play matches.
Mhm,
There's no substitute better. So you have to so if you want to go out there and play better, in your matches, then you need to play more, but you need to put something on the line. you need to change and make it tough for yourself. Go out there and play and only have one serve for the match. Go out there and play every game from 30 all on
Right.
and play 5 sets. You can play 5 sets in an hour and a half if every game's at 30 all.
Hmm.
Okay, so put some pressures on yourself, the same pressures you'd feel if you were playing a match. And I think that if you can go out there and do that, um, you're going to get some good results. And then of course the coaching yourself, and we talked about that in the past
Hmm.
about coaching yourself, but making sure that you have the right information in front of you, and the right goals in front of you.
Cool. Well, that took us off on a little
Sorry.
tangent. That's fantastic stuff, though. I mean, we need that. Um, Two questions on the grunt is: are there any strokes that you should definitely make sure you're grunting, and maybe grunting a little more than you would, normally?
Um, yeah, I mean, what's the hardest shot that you hit on a regular basis? You tell me. What's the hardest shot that you hit in the game of tennis?
Probably the serve.
Sure. So on the serve, absolutely. You're
Yeah.
in total control of the timing. You're in total control of the whole service motion. Okay. There is no reason. Okay. Now, one of the things you want to do before you start your motion is you should always take a relaxation, exhaling breath just
Mm.
before you start. So you get up to the line, you bounce the ball, you call a score, and just before you start, you go, take that deep breath, let it out. And at the bottom of that breath, that's when you start your motion. Okay. You'll see it in basketball, the NBA pros. They get up to the free throw line just before they start. What do? They take a cleansing breath and then they take their shot. Same thing in golf, just before they putt or they swing. They take that relaxation breath. What it does, it sets your rhythm, it sets your timing, and it relaxes your upper body. So I think that's really, really important. And then of course the forehand is probably the next hardest ball that you hit.
Right.
Um, and you'll hear it. You'll probably hear the pros on TV. Maybe I think they definitely grunt louder on their forehands and their backhands. Watch today's matches or tomorrow's matches and on TV, and just see how, and just listen to them. Just listen to how they hit the ball, and it's amazing. If you just close your
Right.
eyes and watch TV, you can hear them. You can hear them. You can hear them grunting.
Well, you almost know when Alcaraz is going to hit a hard forehand because that grunt is a lot louder than it normally is.
Yeah, I think as the decibel goes up, you can go from 80 to 90 to 100 plus miles an hour. I think you can
Yeah.
probably tell. You definitely can tell with Sabalenka.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Well, we've covered a lot. One last question is we want to end it with this. What one key takeaway about grunting can we take from you that we should apply in our next match?
Um, I'm just gonna say a real couple things. Number one,
Okay.
you have a tendency to mirror the other person. So if the other person doesn't grunt, you have a tendency not to grunt. Don't be that person.
Okay.
If you grunt no matter what they do. If they don't like it, tough luck. As long as you're not too loud or not too long, you have the right to do that. Okay. Number two is grunt as often as you can, as much as you can remember to do that. It's really important, and it doesn't have to be very loud. Just loud enough that you can hear it. If you want to go louder than that, no problem. Okay. But just remember, it's up to you, and it is that important.
Great. Well, Mark, Grant, another great discussion. And, I'm sure people want to know, how can they work with you and how do you work with people, that might contact you?
Well, I work with people several ways. You can do online. I get guys who send me videos and have me look at their videos and do a scouting report on what I see. I do at tournaments. If you want to go play a tournament and you want me to be there, you can have me as a coach. There are some guys that I actually go play doubles with at a tournament, and I coach them the whole time. Um, and then I have my location here in Naples, Florida at the Sanchez Academy. It's a wonderful place to work. They're great to work with. I have clay courts here. Typically, I spend about 50 weeks a year on the clay court. I go play the hard courts and I go play the indoors. And there's only 2 weeks I play on hard court. Um, but you can reach me at my phone number is 239-272-8653. and my email is mevtennis@hotmail.com. Oh, and also, I do have a YouTube channel. If you just look under Mark Vines Tennis, you'll see my YouTube channel. It has some of my old matches on them. It has a lot of tennis tips. I'm putting a tennis tip on about every 2 to 3 weeks. Enjoy those tips. Subscribe to my channel. I don't make any money off of it, but I give this stuff out free. But if you have any questions, you can call me up. You can email me. You can come down and see me. I have camps, about 4 or 5 camps a year, small group camps of 3 to 6 people, and we go over a lot of these things that I talk about. And grunting is one of the things that we're going to go over, no doubt about it. I want to make sure you do it. And but I am full service. I'm a concierge pro because I can travel to you and you can travel to me.
Fantastic. Well, again, thank you for being on Insider's Playbook, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate a good effort on the Inside's Playbook,
Thank you.
Players
Thank
Playbook.
you.
Thank you. Bye bye.